Hey everybody, welcome to American Studies 201. This is an introductory video about the nature of the class. I'm going to go over the syllabus, talk about some of the assignments you're going to be asked to do, and just in general, talk about the things you're going to need to do to be successful in this class. I always look forward to teaching 201, Introduction to American Studies, so I'm really looking forward to our semester together. All right, so let's get into it. I'm Matt Haskins. I'm your instructor. I've been teaching in the American Studies department for 20 years. I've been teaching American Studies 201 in various forms for 20 years, and I always enjoy this class, so I'm really looking forward to it. The syllabus. The syllabus is your friend. Refer to it often. It has all your relevant information for the class, assignments, due dates, reading assignments. Really stay up to date on the syllabus so you know what is expected of you and you don't run into problems. All right. Class announcements. I've already sent 2 of them out through the class page. You should have already received 2 emails from me. If you haven't received those, go check your spam folder and it might be in there. Okay. You can also always find the class announcements on the class page on Titanium under announcements. And so they will always be there. So if you didn't get those emails, you can log on to the class page and click the link for announcements. I'll show that to you when we look at the class page in a minute here. And see those announcements. I'll usually send out 1 a week. I try not to overwhelm you. Students sometimes say, on the one hand, they sometimes feel abandoned by instructors when they don't get announcements. On the other hand, I've also heard, and I've heard more of this from students, that they sometimes feel overwhelmed because instructors are bombarding them with announcements. I'll try to send you 1 a week, and if something else comes up for your immediate attention, maybe 2. Extreme example might be 3, but I try not to overwhelm you with announcements. Okay. The books for the class. 4 required books for this class. Kenneth Lockridge's A New England Town, Benjamin Franklin's Autobiography of Benjamin Franklin, Karen Haltunen's Confidence Men and Painted Ladies, and Jim Cullen's The Art of Democracy. 2 issues with books. 1, the first one, Kenneth Lockridge, A New England Town. The book, I sent you an announcement specifically about this book. The bookstore is having a hard time finding enough copies of this book. So I found an online version of the book that's free for a previous edition, which is pretty much exactly the same. As far as I'm concerned, exactly the same. I think there's an updated later chapter that we're not even reading in this class. So you can use that online version if you're having any trouble finding a physical copy of the book. I sent a link to that in that announcement, so it's either in that email or, again, you can find it under announcements on the class page and it will bring you a link to that. Okay. Second issue. Benjamin Franklin's Autobiography, your second book. There are lots of different copies of that book. It's a book that's in the public domain, so publishers can print it up for free. So you'll find lots of versions. The version I've given you here is the cheapest one you can basically find in terms of a physical copy. You can read any version of the book you like. They're pretty much all the same, including free PDFs. However, you run into an issue in my class, which is knowing what to read. The page numbers I give you in the syllabus are for the particular edition, this one here. So if you read a different one, like an online PDF, it might not have page numbers, or if it does have page numbers, they'll almost, I guarantee you, will be different from the ones that I'm using. So I recommend just using the one I have here, or else you might be confused about what you have to read. Now, you can just read the whole book and try and do it rather quickly, and then you'll always be ahead, and that won't be an issue. But the book's fairly cheap. I use the most inexpensive one I can find. So I just recommend reading that book, and then the page numbers will be fine. Okay. All the books are required. You're going to need to read them. All right. Class discussion. We're going to have a weekly class discussion forum under how to get started in this class. I have a Word document about the discussion forum. Basically, every week I will give you a prompt in which you'll have to respond to the prompt I give you about something we're doing that week. It's a two-part assignment. You will respond to the prompt with your original thought, and then you will respond to a classmate. You'll click on one of their links listed in there after the classmate has responded, and you can respond to one of your classmates. Okay. It's a 10-point assignment. You get 5 points for successfully posting your prompt, and you get 5 points for responding to a classmate. Okay. If you only respond to the initial prompt, and let's say you wait a few days before you respond to somebody else, it will show that you've only got 50% credit on that assignment. And sometimes students freak out, like, what did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. You got full 5 points for your first prompt, but you still haven't completed the assignment. You have to respond to a classmate, and you'll get another 5 points for that. So sometimes students lag between those, and I'll get emails asking me, what did I do wrong? I thought I did well on it. You need to get both of them done to get full credit. If you only do one or the other, you'll only get half credit at the time. These are easy points. The discussion prompts don't require any real outside study or research or specifics. They're almost always me asking you, what do you think about this thing? What is your opinion about this thing? So really don't miss out on the discussion points. Now, a couple things I want you to do. Okay, one, in terms of the title, don't give me your name for the title. Or don't say week 1 discussion question. Okay, then everybody's looks the same. Describe what you're talking about. You don't have to be terribly original, but let's say in week 1 you're talking about the Puritans and how religious they are, and you're struck by how very religious the Puritans are. You could just say something like, Puritan religiosity, or Puritan religion surprised me. Okay, give your fellow classmates some sort of idea what your prompt is about, so they have a better sense of what they might want to respond to. Right? So if you're really struck by Puritan religiosity and you're looking at your classmates' titles in there and you see somebody else talking about religion, oh, I want to check that one out because I'm interested in that also. So use your title to kind of describe what you're talking about. Don't just give me your name or week 1 discussion, because then your classmates don't really know what you're talking about. Help each other out here. Also, this is a university assignment, so write incomplete sentences. Capitalize your first word in a sentence. Finish your sentences with punctuation. Okay, it is a class discussion, but it's not a text message. Okay, I don't care what kind of grammar you use when you're texting your friends. I don't care. But for a university assignment like this, we're going to use complete sentences. We're going to use good grammar, and if you don't, you're going to get downgraded because of that. If you don't follow these rules, correct titles, correct capitalization, correct grammar, that's an issue. Finally, don't be a troll, okay? I have no tolerance for people rudely attacking classmates for their opinions with things. Fortunately, this has never been an issue, but it's always something I worry about with online discussion. Be polite to everybody. However, and this is a big however, that doesn't mean you can't disagree with one of your fellow classmates. In fact, I highly encourage this. If you have a differing opinion from your classmate, please cite it. Please point it out in a respectful way, not in a trollish way. For example, somebody posts an opinion on there or is getting something factually incorrect. They're just wrong from what you understand about the lectures or the reading. They're getting something out. You could respond to them saying, oh, I really found your post interesting, but I had a different take from the reading. From the reading, I believe such and such and such and such. I encourage you to do this, okay? If your classmate is getting something wrong, you're not doing the classmate any benefit by ignoring that and pretending, allowing them to wallow in their ignorance. Help them out. Point out where they might be incorrect in a polite way. But nonetheless, I want to encourage some good debate. Part of the maturation process as a college student is, in fact, learning how to respectfully pose differing opinions. And the discussion forum is a place for that. So you don't just need to respond and I totally agree with your post. I like everything you wrote. That's fine if you do, and go ahead and do that. But if there's something you disagree with, by all means, in a really politeful way, disagree. Let's get some differing opinions. Let's have some fun out there. Okay? All right, so read the Word document on class discussion and make sure you do it. Easy points, okay? Technical issues, online help. University has lots of help with some of these, and I have some links and phone numbers here if you were having technical issues. There's a Titanium sort of tutorial here, the email for the help desk, the phone number for the help desk. Reach out with these technical issues. These are the first, if you're having technical issues, these are the first places to reach out. Not so much with me. If you try these things and they tell you there's an issue on my end, by all means, let me know. But if you're having technical issues, I'm really not the guy to talk to because I don't know. So reach out to the experts and they'll be more likely to be able to help you out with this. All right, that's the end of this PowerPoint now. Let's take a look at the syllabus, okay? All right, so again, this is under the How to Get Started module on the class page. You click that and this Word document will come up for you here. Nature of the class. What are we going to be doing in this class? Okay. The way the American Studies Department runs the 201 class is we break it into 4 modules, sort of 4 specific American historical cultures. And every faculty member that teaches this class does it a different way. Right? The way I do it and the way we're going to do it in this class is we're going to begin with the Puritans and 1600 to 1750. We're actually going to start earlier, as you'll see in the first lecture. I'm going to go back to the 1500s and back into Europe. But our first unit is going to be on the Puritans. Okay, the Enlightenment, 1700 to 1800, as far as I'm concerned with this class. Our third unit will be on the Victorians and Victorianism, mostly the 19th century, 1830s to 1900. And our fourth unit is going to be on popular culture, 20th and some 21st century popular culture. All right, that's what we're going to be doing. So those are going to be our 4 units: Puritanism, the Enlightenment, Victorianism, and popular culture. The books, we've already talked about books. Then GE requirements, you know why you're taking this class. Ooh, let's get to some good stuff that students are always interested in. Course requirements and grading. Your grade will consist of 4 elements. Online discussion, we talked about, that's 10% of your class. Unit assessments. Unit assessments are going to be every 2 weeks. You will take a quiz on course material, lecture material, reading material. It's going to be a 15-question quiz, 10 multiple choice, 5 true, false. You'll take that every other week. Okay, you'll have 15 minutes to take these. I'll talk about this a little bit more as we're going. That's 25% of your grade. Okay, and then the rest of your grade will be made up of essays. Okay, essay 1, which is due around the time middle of the class when we would take a midterm. Instead of a midterm exam, you're going to write an essay. I'll talk about that a little bit more. And then for your final, you won't have an exam final. You will write another essay. Essay 1 is worth 30 points. Essay 2 is worth 35 points. Okay. There's no extra credit in this class. Okay. So just know that going in. There's not extra credit. So make sure you're completing assignments on time and not missing deadlines. Okay. I'll have an entire video on the nature of the essays as we get further into the class. Essay 1 isn't due for almost 2 months, so we'll have plenty of time to talk about it. But what you will do is you will write a 3 to 5 page paper on a prompt I give you. For essay 1, it will be some aspect of comparing the Puritans to the Enlightenment experience, and you will write about that. I'll post the prompt on March 5th, and you'll have 2 weeks to work on it, and it will be due March 19th. Okay. This essay does not require any external research. I'm only going to ask you to write with information from the lectures, any videos I give you, and reading material. You don't do outside work. This is not a research paper. It's an essay based on material from the class. So if you're doing the reading, you're watching the lectures, you're taking notes, you're studying, you'll do fine. You'll do great on that. And then you put in the time over 2 weeks to really work on the paper, polish it, make it refined. You'll be good. I have a rubric that I'll talk about later on in terms of expectations for things. I don't want to talk about too much about the essay yet. We're just getting started in this class. As we get closer, I'll have another video like this for you about how to do well on that paper. For essay 2, same thing, 3 to 5 page paper like that. I'll give that to you, the prompt, on March 7th. It will be due the very last day of class, March 21st. Okay, and then the rest of the syllabus is a class schedule. Okay, so week 1, you see there the founding of Denham, Massachusetts. We're going to talk about a particular Puritan town for the first 4 weeks. And reading assignment, Lockridge, Roman numeral 11 through page 36. That is your reading assignment for that week. And then the online response, your discussion form, is due Friday, January 29th before midnight. All the discussion forms are due before midnight on Friday of the week that we're studying. Week 2, it's the same thing: communal politics, issues of authority, and freedom. That's what we're going to be talking about that week. Your reading, page 37 to 78 in the Lockridge book. Online responses are due by Friday, February 5th. Now, this is week 2, second week, so now you have a unit assessment that is also due. So before midnight on Friday, you got to take that quiz. Okay. All right, and that's the remainder of the syllabus. It's got, again, some due dates in terms of when things like the prompt are posted for the finals and things like that. All right, let's take a look at our class page on Titanium. Okay, it might look slightly different than what you see because I have it on the faculty view, instructor view here. But basically this is what it's going to look like for you. So here are those class announcements. You will receive them as emails, but if for whatever reason you're having an issue, just regularly check the announcements. So here are the announcements. I already sent you a greeting week and a half ago. Last week I sent you about that first book and issue. Take a look at that. There's that link to the Lockridge book, like I told you. So you should be receiving these as emails, and but if not, you can always look at the announcements here. Okay. How to get started in this class. This video will be in the How to Get Started module down here, but I'm recording it right now. So there it is. The syllabus, that's where you can find the syllabus. Okay. Let's talk about office hours. So here's a little faculty information block. Okay. In this class, well, hold on, I'll talk about that in a second. I'm going to have office hours 3 days a week for you. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday mornings from 8 to 9:30. Wednesdays later on in the evening for any of you that have issues with getting to talk to me in the morning. That will be from 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. And then Friday morning from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Okay, so those are my office hours. Office hours are going to be conducted through Zoom. So all you need to do for your office hours is click that link right there, and it will take you to my meeting. Okay, we do office hours one-on-one. Sometimes students have sensitive things that they want to share privately with me. So office hours are private. You will meet with me. If I'm meeting with somebody already, you'll just be in a wait room waiting for me. I'll know you're there, so I'll try to get through with the person I'm dealing with as quickly as I can, so I can get to you. If you want to meet as a group with some other people, you can just let me know ahead of time. Send me an email and I'll let people in, or just tell me, hey, my friend so-and-so, there's their name, and I'll see them in the waiting room and I'll let them in. But just for those of you that are worried about this, we do everything in private in office hours. Office hours are part of my job. I get paid to have office hours. So please come and visit me. If you have issues, if you have questions, if you're having trouble, this is what you pay for. Okay? So please don't be apologetic or acting like you're interrupting my day by coming to office hours. This is my job. I'm supposed to help you. It is part of my contract to hold office. Every faculty member, it is part of our contract to offer office hours. So please come and visit if you need help with this, or you just want to know how to do better, or whatever issue you're having with this class. Please come and see me with office hours, okay? Now let's take a look at the weekly modules. All right. So this is what so there's a weekly module. These might not be dropped down in the beginning when you come in the very first time. So you might have to click this link, maybe. So if you don't see anything, click this link, and then these links below the image will drop down. So first thing that's on there is your reading assignment for that week. It's on the syllabus, but I put it in the weekly module, so you don't have to always go back to the syllabus. You could just, week 1, here's your reading. Kenneth Lockridge, A New England Town. I was worried in that initial announcement I sent out, that email about the Kenneth Lockridge book, I thought the page numbers might have been different between the online version and the book version, but they're actually not. They're identical. But I make that clear here that it's the same page number. So just like the syllabus, I told you, Roman numeral 11 to page 36, that's your first week's reading. And so every week I begin with your reading assignment, so you just don't have to fumble through the syllabus. Okay, your discussion question. All right, week 1 discussion question. Here it is. There's the prompt. This week I even have a little video from a Simpsons episode to get you started on this. You take a look at that, and then you add a new topic. You hit that. That's when you will respond to your prompt, and then below that will be prompts from your classmates. If you're the very first person each week to do this, okay, there won't be anything there. But the rest of your classmates will be right there, and then you will go and find one of them that's interesting, and you will respond to them. That's how you get full credit, as we talked about before. Okay. And then we have lectures. Okay. I told you in my initial greeting, my initial announcement, that our class is asynchronous, meaning that we're not going to have regularly scheduled times where we meet as a class. There are going to be no Zoom lectures on here. All right, there's not a set time of the week. Anytime you want, you can come to the lectures and watch the lectures when you want. How many lectures each week? It could vary. Usually between 2 and 4. The length of time for the lectures can also vary. So week 1, there's almost an 18-minute lecture for lecture 1, a 28-minute lecture for lecture 2, and another 28-minute lecture for lecture 3. Okay. You watch them in order, obviously, lecture 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes they're continuations of discussions. I try to keep the lectures sort of between 20 minutes and 45 minutes. That's not a hard and fast rule, but generally speaking, that's what I try to do. Lectures are really important, so there you are. They're accompanied with PowerPoints also that I lecture over. Sometimes I have some other videos, some outside videos, usually YouTube videos that I find that are interesting and helpful. Those are part of class materials, so make sure you're watching those just like you should be doing your reading and watching the lectures. If I post a video, I expect you to read it. It's fair game for, unit assessments for material with that. Okay, and then finally, I'll have the PowerPoints. I also give you the raw PowerPoints that I lecture over. Okay, so if you want just to be able to, let's say, print out the PowerPoints and make me take notes on those, do whatever you like. I'm not saying you have to do that, but some students I know like to do that. I give you just the raw PowerPoints that I lectured over. Okay, and that's what a typical week looks like. Now, week 2 looks pretty much the same. Reading assignment, discussion question. But then we get down to it's a little different. Let's go down to week 4. Yeah, I don't have it in week 2. Unit assessment. There's your unit assessment. So that's where you click on to take the quiz, and it will start you on the process. Don't worry, you can click on this initial link and it'll show you the instructions that you could take a look at. You don't immediately start taking the test. You open this and it will take you to the instructions and things and explain how long you have, and you can always take a look at this when it's due by, and then take the test. It says preview for me because I'm the instructor. When for you it will say take the quiz, and that's when you'll start taking it. So don't click that until you are ready to go. All right, and that's pretty much the nature of the class. This is essay 1. When we get there, I'll give you the grading rubric as a Word document. I have some instructions on the essay for you there. and you will turn it in at a later prompt. Okay. Now, when you start the class and you look for the first week, the only thing that will be visible will be week 1 and week 2. Everything else will be hidden from you. I let you work 1 week ahead, okay? Because I don't want you getting too far ahead. It just doesn't work out. The discussion gets weird because some students are 3 weeks ahead, and it doesn't work out. So you want to work a little ahead. That's fine, but we need to be together as a group for the most part. So don't be surprised if week 3, week 4 isn't available. When we get to week 2, I will also make week 3 available, and that's how it'll go throughout the semester. All right, my friends, that is it. If you have any questions, send me an email. If you have any questions, come visit me in office hours through Zoom. Again, remember, that's the link. Mondays, 8 a.m. to 9:30, Wednesdays, 6:30 p.m. to 8 o'clock, Fridays, 8 a.m. to 9:30. Really looking forward to the class. Hope you're going to enjoy it. Take care.